This is Pappy Pee-Pee. Got a little smoky on Artichoke Lane. This is Sam. Over.
Breaker, this is Lot Lizard 2. I can't be Lot Lizard 1 because Lot Lizard 1 has a lot more action going on than I do. This is Jackie. Over.
Any big rigs out there got their ears on? Come on back. I'm Justin, and this is Breaker on Stinker Madness. Over and out.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at this!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at these! No! Hang on!
It stinks.
Hang on!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by truckers. I'm your host, Justin. With me are always Sam and Jackie. We are making a shift in plans today. We are not going to be doing Rumble in the Bronx after I received several death threats.
Yeah.
Mostly from Sam. But instead, I've pulled a Sam. I've said we're going to watch a movie and then not watch that movie and instead go on a 3 weeks series of trucker films, starting this week with 1977's Chuck Norris masterpiece, Breaker.
It's taken me almost 5 years, but I've made all three of us now turn this into a podcast of nothing but lies.
Lies! We are literally fake podcast.
Yeah.
Because we're not fake news.
Yeah, there's no news here.
There's nothing to learn.
No.
Hello, Jackson.
Hello, Over.
You can stop the over thing now. I think that joke is...
I'm the quiet trucker, Justin.
There's no such thing. If you got a CB, you have to use it. That's the law. You don't just put in a CB to look at it. You get on there and you call out to all the other big riggers out there and let them know where all the smokies are and whatever else you need.
What happens if you're in a Honda Civic?
Then you're not a trucker.
Then you get ran over
But you
by
have
a big rig.
you have a CB in your Honda Civic.
Why would you have a CB in your Honda Civic?
Because you're a fucking weirdo. I don't
Okay,
know.
All right.
And then the truckers find out when you stop at the rest stop, right, to go pee. They're like, "Hey, isn't that the? Do you think that that's the handle red Civic?"
Reds, okay.
And-
That's
and
as
then-
clever as you can get with your handle.
Well, it has to be obvious that you're in a red Civic.
Okay.
And then they corner you by the Taco Bell and they kick your ass.
Huh.
And then they rip your radio out because they're like, "You're not a real trucker, fuckface." And then you have to buy a new one at the truck stop, and it costs you $90. And you're out there, you just rewire it, and then you're back out on the road. You wait about 50 miles, and then you're like, "This is red Civic, over."
Did either of you guys, because as everybody knows that listens to this shows, we're old as shit, did either of you guys have CBs when you were kids?
Well, as you recall, before kindergarten, we didn't have we had solar power and generator electricity. We didn't have
You guys were
phones.
from the future, right? Yeah.
We were from the past.
Oh.
Like, we didn't have...
Solar energy is
There
really...
was no power up there. It was so remote that you had to...
I'm pretty sure Thomas Jefferson was a big solar energy fan. What are you talking about? No, that's from the future, man.
Yeah, but there was no phones either, so it was
Right.
all CB.
Yeah. So you did.
There was a CB in every car.
Did you have a CB in your house?
Yes.
Nice.
That
Jack,
was the only way to do it.
did you have any experience with the Citizens Band radio?
No.
Really?
No, I grew up in the city.
Yeah, well, your dad likes big trucks, so maybe he wanted to have a CB at some point.
No, he didn't.
Okay. My dad had a CB in his truck.
I think I have a CB in my apartment in one of the boxes.
We should totally see what happens. Plug it in and is anybody using CBs anymore? That's the thing.
Yeah, and people use those stupid walkie-talkies still that have the 2-mile range.
Yeah.
I can put batteries in that, fire it up, and start going through channels, and people are doing sex talk to each other.
Nice.
Like across the neighborhood and shit. Then you'd be like, "That's hot stuff." And we're like, "This is a private channel?" And you're like, no, it's not, dickhead.
it is
There's
not.
not a private channel in the bandwidth that you're working with. You guys are fucking hot talking each other across the cul-de-sac. And everybody's listening. Just like Days of Our Lives. Thank you.
Really? I want a walkie-talkie
Yeah, no
now.
shit, man. We
I want to
really
fucking
need to do
spy on
this.
our neighbors.
Why
Yeah.
do we even have a podcast? That should just be the podcast. Listen to these sexy talk from weirdos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really like your front bushes over.
Oh boy.
Sam, please tell us about Breaker Breaker.
So this is the first American film starring Chuck Norris.
Okay.
It's not with him as the lead.
Him in this. Yeah.
So he had been in a couple of other movies,
Mm-hmm.
both in Hong Kong. Obviously, he was in the Bruce Lee movie Way of the Dragon.
Right.
He's the main bad guy because they were training partners.
Mm-hmm.
He's blonde in this movie, too, which was unusual.
What?
He's blonde.
He's always blonde.
No, he's got red hair.
Well, it's dirty blonde.
It got more red the older he got. Who knows what the story is there, right? But with him and Bruce Lee basically industrializing the karate school, when it got hot in L.A., it's Steve McQueen that says, you should get into acting, and then I think you can do it here. You're going to be fine. And this is the one that he decided to choose, basically.
Right.
Which was a good choice.
Oh, it's a great choice. For us, I don't know if... Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a good choice for him, too, because he went on to be Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
But using a trucker movie that is as weird as this to launch your karate career is not... usually you have the ninja revenge thing that launches... that's the cliche karate movie is some revenge plot. But here he gets on a K&W truck and runs people over.
Well, they were trying to break the stereotype for truckers for this movie. I'll just break in here with some fake news.
That they look like bowlers and they can't do karate?
Yeah.
Okay.
That they eat a lot of sandwiches. They're usually maybe a heavier build
Sure.
and maybe can't kick above their waistline.
Or have seen their feet in 6 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're really breaking the stereotype here with casting Chuck Norris as this badass karate guy. Is this any... Am I close?
No.
Is this part of the movie stuff?
3 of the truckers that I know are some of the most in shape people that I am friends with. Oddly enough.
My uncle's a trucker, and he's a big fat fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure
and he's
they're
a
out
wife
there.
abuser,
Oh.
and he's a piece of shit.
Oh.
Wow.
And Justin can't remember his name, so
Cannot. It's not really on my high priority list to worry about that too much.
Yeah, in terms of how this made Norris a star, though, that's interesting because this is an AIP film. Now, it was supposedly shot in 1974. I don't think that's true.
Okay.
But they said it wasn't released until 1981 after Force of One and Good Guys Were Black are sort of his explosion.
Huh.
That's not true. You know the
can't be
AIP
true.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know that what happened really is, and I'm making some assumptions here, but I know Samuel Arkoff, or I've read about him enough to know that he doesn't sit on shit like this. So this toured small circuit. This did the end of Drive-In
Right.
for Arkoff, and then when he got big, he sold it again, and then they put it back in theaters on a wide release because a lot of people hadn't seen it.
Yeah, because I could see this teaming up with Highballin' really
Sure.
easy on a double feature at the drive-thru. Really easy. So, yeah, it's insane to me that anybody would say that.
for those listeners who don't know what a drive-through is,
Yeah.
Drive-In.
drive-in, it's,
Drive-thru. That's
It's
where
where
you-
you go to the movies and you sit in your car and it's a gigantic screen and you tune in with your radio.
It's not that. They still have drive-ins, Jackie. Like
It's
we're
still-
not really.
Oh, yeah?
Is our listeners 5 years old? No, everybody knows what a drive-in is.
Yeah.
This is a movie podcast.
live in a city, and
you
we don't have
to know
one.
things about movies to listen to this
There-
podcast.
We don't have a drive-in here.
Yes,
There
we
is
do.
a drive-in within a half hour of here.
Yeah. It's not in our town though.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, we
Does
don't.
LA have a drive-in?
Hey,
Yeah.
Google that shit. You don't know what something is on this podcast? GTS. Move on, Sam.
Wait, do you want me to interject with some more fake news?
Yeah. What do you got? Like, did birds come and they used carrier pigeon to send signals between the cinematographer and the producer on this?
The horse in this movie.
Yeah, the horse was interesting. I still don't really know about that.
This was his big acting break.
Wow.
And they chose him because he had really good eye communication. And they were like, we really need to capture just how awesome this scene is. What's that? Mr. Horse? You can do it? Let's see it. oh my God, you're going to be an instant star. I don't know if this horse ever made it to another film, but
I don't know
he
that-
really stole the show for his scene.
This horse actually looked like it was batshit crazy and actually probably ran away off
Yeah,
the set,
right.
never to be seen again.
Yeah, okay.
So when they do really release this in 1981, though, it makes $12 million.
Wow.
$12 million.
Damn.
And it cost $250,000.
That is hot shit.
It
right
got
there.
Wow.
it made some cash.
Yeah, that is hot shit.
But either way, at that point, like the legend of the Norris, the fact that Bruce Lee's dead by this point, so he's now like the sole benefactor of karate schools in America,
Right.
For the most part, like had he never been a movie star, this guy still would be Chuck Norris,
Right.
It's just that he's so Chuck Norris that he couldn't not be a movie star, I guess.
I guess not.
Does he still have facilities?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's probably got a chain of them.
And at this point in time, it seems that he has a black belt in any discipline that gives him out.
Yeah.
Like he's trained in everything.
Wow.
The sort of last thing, because I could talk about Chuck Norris for 6 hours and we'd all fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm already getting
You're already getting there?
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting about this is like why he chose it. He also only got paid $5,000 on this movie.
Wow.
And it's he didn't need the money. So if you look at his whole career, he only does stuff that he wants to do, which is so weird.
Because it's all crap.
Well, no, because he's like, well, I want to play this character. And he was like, well, the screenplay has to be modified because I won't be involved with a picture that doesn't display justified violence.
Right.
And that everything has to have this sort of emotional tone. And he's like, well, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Because he's got this like huge personal code, right?
Yeah, no, he wanted to be in terms of endearment, and they said, no, you can't kick your co-star in the face. This is not that type of movie, Chuck Norris.
Well, he said I wasn't going to do any. I was just going to act in that movie. And they're like, oh, were you? Was this going to be the one where you started doing that?
Zing.
Well, I mean, you love him for the fact that he's him. That's the thing is
Right.
that in his mind and in his soul, he's like, well, this is me playing this character. But what happens is Chuck Norris is just being Chuck Norris in the movie.
Right.
And so in like these screenplays landing, he's like, I'm going to do this because I've never played a guy named Josh that used to be a sailor. But it doesn't matter because it ends up just being Chuck Norris in the movie. You can't tell the difference between any of it.
You could honestly like do a supercut of
Yeah.
all Chuck Norris films and make it one narrative.
You can't. So you'd have to actually do two because you have to do Beard Norris and non-Beard
Right,
Norris.
right.
But that's the only thing you could cut together those movies, and no, you wouldn't be able to tell they weren't the same movie.
Right, exactly.
Especially because of how this is one of the only movies where he doesn't go fantastic with his wardrobe. Like he wears the same thing
Right.
the whole time, and I think that he saw that and he's like, you know what? I don't want to do that ever again.
Yeah.
And then Good Guys Wear Black happens, and it's like, this is a fucking fashion show. He doesn't wear the same thing for longer than a minute and a half. And then there's just a bunch of shots of his ass.
Good guys wear black, and in very many different
Yeah.
varieties of black attire.
I will say, though, he did have one extra outfit in this movie when he was teaching the Zen moment. He had a sequined jumpsuit on,
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. that
and the
was
side of the
ridiculous.
pants were completely blinged out. And
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, you are fucking owning that, buddy. Like, I love it.
Like Elvis would have been comfortable in that. If you want to wear something that Elvis is comfortable in, you've got a wild fashion taste.
Yeah, and then maybe that's it, is that, like, Chuck Norris is the Elvis of karate.
Right. He's the king.
Love him or hate him, he's the king.
Chuck Norris has left the building.
Uh-huh.
You got anything else?
I got some stuff that I can sprinkle in as we go.
Okay. Before we get started, I want to give a huge thank you to our new Patreon subscriber. Support us on patreon.com/sniggermadness. Thank you very much to Jeremy M. for signing up for our, I believe it's the Troll 2 level. He's chucking $20 a month at us. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, here's your joke of the day, just for you, for participating.
There goes our Patreon.
Yeah. You can stop right now.
No, he'll like this. He'll
Okay,
like this.
all right.
Okay. Where does a duck fart come from? From his ass quack.
I heard that earlier this week, and somebody else laughed that hard when I told it. I was like, I almost wanted to throw up the first time. This time I just now have to poop.
Oh, that's just for you, Jeremy M.
Breaker from 1977. It starts out basically with the town of Texas City, California,
Sure.
getting founded or whatever that.
Yes.
The governor has issued them a certificate of you're a place now.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck California with your goddamn liberal bullshit and your high tax rates. We're naming this town after my son, who's named after the only real estate in the world. Goddamn Texas.
It's George Murdoch is the actor that's the mayor, judge, god king of Texas City. And you've seen him in one episode of every television show ever fucking made.
Yeah, no, he's very familiar. And he's at a fucking 12 this whole movie.
Yes,
Like,
he's
he's-
awesome. Other than when he's molesting that kid.
Well, that's a 12.
Yeah, but it's a bad 12.
Yeah, it's a bad 12.
Yeah, that was really
We'll
quite
get to
awkward.
that. He's basically Roscoe P. Coltrane of this, like, weird, we're the independent state of Jefferson type
Yeah.
fucking bullshit that's happening in this movie. But he's so, like, weird.
He's weird.
He's not even like, we gotta do these bad things. He, like, speaks like he's half Shakespeare and half Roscoe P. Coltrane.
He's a charlatan.
So I think what happens is when you drink too much alcohol, you start to believe your own bullshit,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, I'm the king of the world. Let this rattlesnake bite me. And then he's like, wait, this is a bad choice. But then it's too late. And then he's got rattlesnake poisoning. He's drinking with a baby doll hooker. And he puts on a red robe instead of a black one when he's the judge because, you know, this is medieval Europe.
Right.
And
He's the Inquisitor?
yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you just start memorizing rando things and then just trying to incorporate them so you seem like you've still got a handle on your real life. Mm-hmm. But
Like-
you don't.
Yeah, like you're important. Like, oh, this man is saying things that I don't understand. I should clearly trust him, even though this entire movie he is drinking throughout.
He's probably just drinking
I
throughout.
think the actor was drunk.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think he's pulling an Ollie Reed here.
An odd thing with George Murdoch is he's one of the guys that was buddies with the producer that I worked for on the children's show.
Okay.
Murdoch and Bixby were his two best buddies in Hollywood. And it seemed from the stories that they all quit drinking in the 70s. They all had
Except for Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, yeah, he the drinking quit him. he died from it. Yeah, but like the party was hard, and at one point they were all like, "Okay, we gotta stay married because we're not superstars. We make enough money, but we can't get divorced, so we gotta retire from drinking."
Right.
So at this point, it could have been right around that time, but they would still have cocktails and that, but it wasn't like the. I heard some like the early 70s, late 60s. It was just drunk all day, all the time, everybody.
Yeah.
I tried living that lifestyle.
I'm living it right now.
I made it 3 days. And then I was like, you know what? I'm really tired of shooting water out my ass. I just can't keep doing this. My butthole is raw. I'm just never going to make it as an alcoholic. So I had to sober up and drink some Powerade before I died.
Good story.
Thank you.
J.D. Dawes, beloved trucker, has pulled back into the area. He's been on the road for a long time, and he's back in town, and everybody's like, oh, great to see you, J.D. We missed you. And
He was in Alaska.
okay, yeah, there you go. He had a long haul, which is what I said. And finds his little brother, his little kid brother, little scrapper, out on the motocross practice park thing where you take a dirt bike and just do brodies,
Yeah.
whatever those are called.
Yeah, and then after this kid wipes the fuck out, right?
He doesn't seem to be a very good
He,
motorcyclist.
he pulls his bike back over to where his brother's sitting, and you notice that he's got a really nice pair of riding boots that are just sitting there, and he's riding around in like a pair of Doc Martens.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this is a dirt sport, so you should know that there is a large possibility you could break your ankle.
Yeah.
Don't use those boots. They're created for that.
Right.
You better save those for when it's really dangerous.
Or put your fucking foot against the goddamn exhaust pipe and burn it off.
Yeah.
Either way, things get pretty weird almost instantly in this film because they meet up and they're like, there's this knowing look at each other like, good to see you, bro, I missed you. But then the dialogue is an insult of putt-putt. The kid's putt-putt. And then Chuck Norris starts wrestling with him. Like, you son of a bitch.
And it's I've seen this 5 or 6 times now. And when they're wrestling, it's like Chuck Norris is sort of like playful with them a little bit, but anytime the kid tries to wrestle back, he fucking slams him into the dirt.
Right.
He's like, I will show you how to wrestle. Either pretend to wrestle or I will fucking wrestle you. I am Chuck Norris. And he's like, I'm fucking 16. Stop it.
Right.
So I think that I'm going to burn one of my questions. What the hell is he talking about, putt-putt?
I don't know.
I've got my theory here.
Okay, please.
Okay, so I think that Chuck Norris had an embarrassing moment at a putt-putt golf place.
Okay, all right.
Where he was putt-putting and maybe crapped his pants.
Ooh. Hey,
And
yeah,
so-
it's an inside joke, a little history.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think.
I told you never to talk about that again.
Yeah, the putt-putt incident.
Yeah, that was. I drank a whole lot that week. Okay.
I was trying to be an alcoholic for
Yeah,
3 days. You leave me
practicing
alone.
alcoholism. I had to burn those pants. Don't talk about it. Stupid. So they go to the trucking center, whatever those places are called, because it's just,
Truck stop.
Yeah, truck
No,
stop.
this is not the truck stop. This is like center of trucking where all the truckers get together because there's just like, I guess maybe it's a truck stop.
It's a truck stop.
Yeah,
whatever.
dude, it's a truck stop.
And
There's no secret society of truckers,
But you don't
dude.
go to a truck stop to like, hey kid, take my big rig and deliver this load of TV dinners, because he docks his truck and then the kid loads it up. So this isn't a truck stop. This is where they're getting shit.
Well, I don't know what's happening because it's like it
Some
cuts
bad
it
cuts.
that I guess the truck stop is also where they this is where I took my load,
Right.
and then the kid goes up and picks up another load, and then
Right.
he's also
The
like,
kid is also a trucker?
I guess now this is his first solo run. How old is he supposed to be?
I don't think you can just. Oh, well, even in 1977, there was pretty strict regulations about who could be a trucker and who can't. You kind of have to have a license for it.
They're in California, so
Yeah,
heavy regulation. He had to have a CDL, and he's like 16.
Right. Oh, you just get to go, oh, do you want to be a trucker? Well, go ahead and take this load for me. You can't do that.
Well, this is his first solo trip, right?
Okay.
And I think that the reason that this whole movie escalates so quickly, it's not because the brother goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's because all the truckers planned a trucker party for him and had a lot lizard for him and everything, right?
okay,
It's like his bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
And it's time, right? He's going to come back from his load. They have a little cake with some candles, and they've set up like this whole thing with little hats and shit. And then the kid doesn't show up, and they still have to pay the lot lizard, and the kid
Right.
goes stale.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck.
Yeah, they had a banner made that from the lyrics of the trucking song theme song at the beginning says, "Get some lipstick on your dipstick."
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah.
Drop off that load and then drop off another load. Yeah. On the prostitute. Okay,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure if you guys knew where what
I wasn't sure where you were going, and now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe you
There's
should
one-
not have expanded on that one.
Yeah, there's one guy standing in the corner. Make sex to that lady.
There's also this weird sequence here where he meets another trucker who has been paralyzed by some guy.
I don't know. So she's like, "Oh, they're up there in Texas City, and they paralyzed him." And like, okay, he's got a foam neck brace, and he's sitting in a truck.
Right.
And then she says later, "Yeah, they paralyzed the whole left side of his body." I'm like, okay, wait, what?
Only the left side, huh?
So they punched him into a stroke, and now he's just sitting up there stoically.
How'd he get up there?
How did he get? And he's not like. There's one shot where he's like, they couldn't get a good stoic shot of this guy because he almost like half smiles. And one of them is like, "What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to do nothing." He's like,
Look forward.
"What? Am I doing it right?"
I love that it's not just the neck brace, like he's gone into court claiming he's got
Yeah.
whiplash in a faux lawsuit. He's also got like one of those like, I got wounded in the war bandages on all over the top of
Yeah.
his head. Like, no, that is not, come on.
That's why he lost the. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he looks like he's, this is a lawsuit get up.
Right, it does.
It doesn't. He doesn't look beat up or anything.
Fucking better call Saul, because
And she's like, "Oh, I I had to drive him. I had to drive his truck until he got home. I'm like, wait, he's in the truck. He's not. You guys aren't home right now, unless your home is the truck. At which point, the language that you're using doesn't make sense coming out of your mouth.
Oh man, it's so weird.
But he's like, that's nice. I got to go in and get a sandwich.
Yeah.
And
oh.
he meets his friend who is the lumberjack guy from Twin Peaks. I have no idea what his name is. He's great.
He's great. He's also, I think, he was just in Dune a little while ago too. I think.
Maybe.
I think so. I think Lynch has kicked this guy around a little bit. Yeah.
And he hears about what's going on in Texas City. They're basically hijacking shipments. Like if you drive a big rig through Texas City, they're going to pull you over and your toll to pass is like half of your fucking shit that you're hauling.
Yeah.
So don't go there. Or call the police.
Or call the police.
Yes.
Because the police are the ones that are pulling your ass over.
No. Call like your police, like the county fucking sheriff. Like, hey, these guys are you can't hijack big rig shit.
No.
I mean, fucking, you saw what happened to Dominic Toretto. And that was Dominic motherfucking Toretto, not some QQ Rocco P. Coltrane wannabe.
They have to divert these people. Outrageous amount. Like, oh no, now you got to go up there. Now you got to go up there. Like, wait a fucking second.
On a dirt road.
Like, why did I get off the interstate?
Why did I do
this? So like, they can't, honestly, there's nothing sustainable about this plan.
No, Texas City is dumb.
But yeah, they pinch you. They pinch you hard. They're going to take a piece of everything you got going through there.
And now, this is where I'd like to say that if this wasn't this kid's first rodeo, he would have a fucking billy club in his thing and a taser.
Right.
And he would have, these cops would have went to town on the ground, and the trucker just would have got back in his rig and been like, well, fuck you.
Don't tase me, bro. Fuck. So that's exactly what happens to the kid. He gets pulled over, basically. His car slide stops in front of him, tells him, hey, you got to go up this dirt road. There's a big car accident in front of us. He seems to drive for quite a while.
Yeah, before getting diverted again.
Before getting pulled over and then marched in front of the judge, Mayor God King.
Yes.
And charged with excessive speeding, not keeping a logbook,
Resisting arrest.
overweight load and resisting arrest, and you either have to pay $250 or 250 days. Let's break down this $250 for all these crimes that he's committed.
Yeah.
Because
Even in 1977,
it seems light.
Yeah, like, okay, pay the fine. Well, that's what they're doing, is they're just pinching everybody for everything. So they're trying to they look at this kid and they're like, I bet we can get $250 out of him.
Right.
And then they're just going to like take probably 2 crates of dinners.
Right.
And then it's just stupid.
And then the kid goes on, delivers his load. The people go, where you're short on inventory, where'd those 2 boxes go? Tells the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then the fucking FBI gets fucking involved.
Sure.
Actually, the FBI wouldn't get involved because it's not.
They'd be like, fuck
Cross
off
state
with
lines,
this,
but-
just get CHP.
No, it would be.
Get the motorcycle cops in the hot pants on this one.
If you're bringing a load in from Nevada or someplace else and you go through
State line.
and end up in Texas City, the FBI would 100% get involved.
Well, I don't think that's happening. I think they're just in SoCal, and this is like...
Yeah, but somebody's going to go get through Texas City that's not from California.
Yeah, but maybe.
Yeah, no.
Those touristy people
There's
with the dog.
Fucking Mulder and Scully are showing up here in a week. Yeah, the touristy people with the dog. Yeah, man, there's cross-state line crimes happening here. Anyways.
So if you knew that this was happening, and maybe I'm just a fucking asshole, right?
Sure.
And if I knew that I was being pinched, there's part of me that would just be like, I'll take the 250 days, because then you fuckers have to feed me.
Right.
And I just stay in the cell for 250 days, and they'd be like, sure you don't want to just pay that fine? Now it's only 150, and I'll be like, no. I really don't.
We got Sarah Lee in the back of my truck, right? Am I having meatloaf tonight? Nice.
Yeah.
How about some Salisbury steak?
You're going to get fed those TV dinners, and if you love TV dinners, 250 days for free TV dinners.
Maybe they're the good ones, like those big, huge lasagnas.
Oh,
and
like
they just bring you in an entire lasagna for you.
It's the banquet. corn.
Frequent
Oh
ones.
no.
It's like the corn that you're like, oh, corn, and then you try to pick up a corn, and then the whole brick of corn comes up on your fork, and then you have to like chew it off the fork.
I actually, my favorite thing about what you just said was there's corn in it, and you look at it and you go, oh, corn. Who says that? Oh, corn.
Yeah. These are the like pep talks you have to give yourself when you're eating a banquet because you don't want to eat it. You're like, oh, corn, yummy. Like,
Then
peas.
I doubt that this person has indoor plumbing in a cell. They're probably just giving you a bucket. And so Sam
know-
going, oh, corn?
Yeah, there's
Just
hay
makes
laid
it-
down there.
It totally makes it more worth it because then you're like, you're going to have to clean that out later, Bob.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at Trucker Central, Chuck has found himself he's gotten in a little Lincoln Hawk situation here because the town tough has come in looking for a wrestling match, an arm wrestling match specifically.
He looks like an old time guy from the circus for the strongman.
Yeah, he gets hit in the chest with a cannonball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the, the little wispy
Oh yeah, and he
mustache,
has
and
the
he's
barbell that's got the huge circle or balls on the end of it that
Yeah.
says 500 pounds.
and he's got a fishnet tank top on.
Yeah,
but
he's sweet.
yeah, I'm thinking this guy is definitely circus material.
He also has a pirate.
He's got a pirate.
The first time that I watched this, I watched it with Roman, and Roman just goes, "That guy's a pirate."
It's not just he's wearing Jerry Seinfeld's shirt. He literally is a pirate.
He's a pirate of the high seas.
From head to toe, this man is dressed 100% like he's fucking Blackbeard.
He's the only pirate in the movie.
He doesn't have a parrot.
Yeah, no, that's it. The only thing he's missing is
A sword. He doesn't have a
Yeah.
sword either, but other
Or a
than
peg
that,
leg.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but
Well, he
he's,
needs both legs to drive, though, and he's obviously a trucker.
Oh,
of
he's
some
got to be a
sort,
trucker
right?
because he arm wrestles. Yeah, he's a fan of arm wrestling. We know one thing about arm wrestlers.
Wrestling.
They're all truckers.
they're all truckers,
Right.
but he's a pirate.
He is a pirate.
Yeah, I guess if he's driving a truck, that's probably a fun ride. If you had to get picked up by that guy.
Yeah, yeah. What was that? We were watching a Twitch stream one time.
Oh, the
Sea of what's that?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah.
the guy dressed up like the
The
pirate.
guy went head to toe dressed like a
Yeah.
pirate and was nutty as shit. It was great. If you find that guy on Twitch, if you're
He just got kicked off
streamer-
YouTube. Actually,
Oh, really?
That's
Wow.
the mustache guy that got kicked off. That's who we were watching.
Why did he get kicked off?
For saying something really fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's
Which
usually how you
I mean,
get
it's
kicked off.
like, and then you see what they say, you're like, why'd you fucking say that?
Yeah,
you
dumb
stupid.
shit. He's stupid. Never mind. Don't watch that guy. What a stupid.
Get your own podcast if you want to say something stupid. We say fucking 100 things stupid once a week. Nobody can kick us off because we got to pay for the hosting.
Yeah, this is stupid. Kick us off of our own freaking website, stupids. So they seriously have an over to the top sequence here where Chuck wins at arm wrestling, of course, and then gets in a bar brawl because he won.
Well, they say that he was trying to hypnotize the strongman.
Hypnotize him
He's like, you were hypnotizing me.
with my swirly penguin eyeballs. Like,
How?
don't look into my eyes. It's kaleidoscope
Yeah.
like I'm fucking Caw. Come on, what the fuck are you talking about? Hypnotize you. This is an arm wrestling thing.
But this is a great shot, though, of Chuck Norris's arm muscles.
He's got biceps.
Yeah, this man is, shit brick house in the arm department in this shot. Like,
I would prefer not to get punched or kicked by Chuck Norris.
oh hell no.
Yeah.
You would be concussed.
How much? Let's put it on money. How much is it going to take? He roundhouses you in the chest. How much money are we talking for you to get kicked by Chuck Norris?
Now or then?
Then.
A lot.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Okay. Jackie, give me a.
Does he have to take me
firm
out to
answer.
dinner first?
Nope. He just kicks you in the chest. How much does it cost?
And then he walks away like I don't get to talk to him or anything?
Nope. Just kicks you in the chest. How much is it going to cost?
$5,000.
$5,000. Okay. Sam, can you do
I was
cheaper?
gonna be like 2,500.
2,500. I think I'm at 2,500.
Yeah, because the thing is that he's probably gonna break a rib,
Yeah.
and they can't really do anything about that at the hospital for
Right,
the most part.
right.
So you're just gonna be laid up for a month.
Yeah.
See, and I say $5,000 because as a lady, I got some big old boobs.
Yeah, that would
And
hurt more
he
for you.
kicks one of my boobs open,
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
you know, because they can explode if they get enough pressure onto them.
Especially when they're silicone like hers.
My boobs are not silicone, weirdo. But it would cost me about $5,000 to have them redone down in Mexico. So
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, I need the money now to get new boobs.
So we're basically taking kicks in the chest from Chuck Norris at cost.
Right.
All three of us
Yeah.
were like,
No,
I'm going to lay it up for a month. We should ask for more money.
We should ask for more money. Yeah, we're way off on this one. Okay, so so eventually he's like, hey, where have you seen my little brother at all?
Yeah.
They're like, no, man. And he tries to find where he's at. The goods never got delivered, and they, through some good detective work, realize, oh shit, he's in Texas City.
Yeah.
I better go check it out.
He gets a phone. Is this where he gets the phone call from his buddy?
Yeah.
And who then, for the rest of the movie, stays seated in the same position
Yes.
and just drinks Coors
Right.
until he can't see straight.
Yeah.
I believe I counted 8 already drunk Coors with one that he was cracking open and like 2 packs of Marlboro Reds on the table. Like, this guy was going to town.
That's all you do when you're in the. You're like the dispatch for truckers of this group of friends. You just sit there and take phone calls and get drunk all day. That's your thing.
He's been out on the road for 3 weeks. He's taken 4 days off, and he's gonna drink Coors the entire time.
The entire time. So Chuck, JD. Oh man, I can't get over it. He gets into the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
This fucking van that he drives to Texas City is boss.
4x4, no windows, American Eagle, blue.
The Eagle is like majestic, like this gold.
It's huge.
With its wings that go all the way to the back doors
Right.
and over the fenders. It's so majestic.
And it's jacked up.
It's
fucking boss. I'd watch this movie just for that van.
It's one
let
of the
alone
only
it's got trucking in
times
it.
that you can be asked the question, is it as cool as the A-Team van?
Yeah.
And say yes.
Yes.
And if you were asked which is better, you'd be like, I'd have to think about that for a really long time.
I would have to think about it for a really long time. That spoiler on the back of
so
Mr. T's van's pretty
The
sweet.
A-Team van is fucking
It's
boss.
pretty boss.
what do you guys think happened to this van? Sam, you're the...
I don't know what happened to this van, but somebody still has
Somebody
that van.
still has this van.
And dicks get hard.
Yeah, right.
Panties get wet.
Yes.
That thing, you see that on the corner, heads turn.
Yeah. Oh,
The
man.
van's amazing.
It's amazing. I would kill for the airbrush. Like, we need a guy who is just like hey, can you do this airbrushing for me real quick? And he's like, yeah, I love airbrushing. We need that guy.
Yeah, they don't
Everybody
have
needs that
'cause
guy.
People that can airbrush are like, yeah, I can. $300 an hour.
$300 an hour. That's more than my doctor gets made. Yeah, that's what it's going to
Yeah,
cost.
you want wet panties when the van drives by? $300 an hour.
Yeah, you want some pills for your heartburn? Go to your doctor. You want panty dropper? Come to me.
Wow.
So he ends up there at Texas City, and I guess they've just got lookouts that sit on top of mountains all day with rifles and shoot anybody who comes into this town.
The back road.
That isn't. Oh, it's just the back road.
So they're
covering.
guarding the back road.
Well,
it
so
takes
what?
you watching this several times.
Why
to
not
actually
guard the
put-
front road too?
No, because they're using the front road for the pinch.
Right.
So that's because they only have so much resources.
Okay.
So the back road, they keep people off so that nobody can come into town, and the only way in or out is this other way where they have enough people to actually put a good pinch on.
And they're making the moonshine out there
Yeah,
as well. And
it's
they
double
don't
dipping.
Yeah, they don't want anybody to know that they're processing their own alcohol because they're selling it in order to finance the town.
Most likely to themselves.
Doesn't make any sense.
Their
Right.
business plan is the underpants gnomes.
It's underpants gnomes.
And
Seriously.
in the timetable of this movie, we'll probably discuss this later, their racket hasn't been going on very long, so they don't know that it's not working.
Right. And I mean, even then, who's going to buy that fucking moonshine? It's California. It's not illegal.
It's in the 70s. Anyone can buy. The guys in town are drinking wild turkey.
Right. They don't even like their own shine.
No, they're like, we're going to be able to make 100 gallons of moonshine a day. And then what?
dump it out.
Yeah.
Money.
One of the rednecks tastes it is like, that's not good.
And that's sad because they're drinking wild turkey right out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. So his van gets shot. Doesn't hurt the paint. Sweet. Good call.
Yeah. I don't think they hit it. They were too drunk.
Yeah. Right. But his radiator blows out. Then I guess.
Maybe that's what happened. They shoot the radiator.
They shoot the radiator, and so he hobbles it into town. Still, I don't know how he got past them. But he hobbles it over to this gas station where a mechanic is at. And he's like, hey, who's a mechanic in town? Can you fix this radiator? And we get introduced to the mechanic's brother, Arnie?
Yes, Arnie.
Arnie is a mentally handicapped person, but heart of gold. And Arnie points him down to the junkyard. Well, yeah, my brother can fix it, but we don't have a radiator here, so you got to go down to the junkyard and get yourself one. And he does. And it's a big junkyard for this town that appears to have maybe a citizenship of maybe 300 people. They've got like 20,000 cars in there.
Well, apparently the other part of the racket isn't like stripping, chop shopping these rigs that they steal. It's crushing them and selling them for the steel weight. Cha-ching.
What?
Yep.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
No, they got a bad business plan.
Oh, boy. He walks into the restaurant in town. Restaurant / bar. I don't know what
The
this
bar
place
and the restaurant
is.
are different.
Well, yeah, but there's like tables and stuff at this place. And then this lady that runs this bar / thing is pretty nutty.
She's dressed like Raggedy Ann.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the bar.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's got dolls. And he does a shitty job reciting Shakespeare to her.
Right.
And then plays a game of chess against himself with her hands.
Right.
And that's sexy to him.
That's sexy to him. And, like, she's weird. And I understand he's corrupt, bad guy, politician, whatever. But his wife is pretty fucking smoking hot.
His wife's out of his league.
Way out of his
definitely,
league.
And he's cheating on her with a sack of bananas.
With a sack of bananas. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, man, this guy's such a weird villain. But Chuck walks in there and he's like, I'd like to file a complaint. And Judge whatever his name is goes off on this weird tirade. And JD just walks away.
It's
He's like,
awesome.
all right, whatever.
Because he starts like doing his fucking pomp and circumstance and Shakespeare complaint, grievance, what would you call? And then in the middle of that, Norris just goes, am I wasting my time here? And then he's just like, to who is grieved and one will agree. And then he's gone. He's like, yes, I am. And even saying another thing would be wasting more of my time.
It was
And
hilarious.
He just turns and walks the fuck out.
I think that's the funniest intentional thing I've ever seen Chuck Norris do. So things are going well, but he goes and gets a radiator at the junkyard from this fucking guy. I guess he's Arnie's cousin as well, it turns out, but he's a loony who rips him off and just acts weird the whole time because everybody's fucking weird.
They're all inbred. They're all cousins.
I think so.
Yeah, that seems like it.
Everybody's related in this town. Their family tree doesn't have any branches.
No.
Back at his van, the cops have been called in to check him out, and the mechanic guy finds a picture of him and the little brother, and his registration has the same address as the little brother.
Yeah.
So maybe they know each other.
Yeah, he's got like, this is their name, their last name's the same, and they got the same address. These guys might know each
They
other.
might, yeah, I bet you they've met before.
Meanwhile, there's some foreshadowing happening here because Mechanic Guy is smoking in Chuck Norris's van.
Right.
And
Dick move.
all I can think is, he's going to fucking kill you later, right? When he comes back, when his car's running and he's supposed to be paying you and he goes, "Are you smoking in my fucking van?"
Yeah.
These are Winston's. Gross.
Gross.
My grandma used to smoke Winston's.
Yeah.
They were disgusting.
They're cheap. The judge also is like, okay, well, since these guys may have met one time, let's arrest him. Let's go get him. Go get him, boys.
And then he gives a code to arrest, like, what are we going to arrest him for? And he's like, 2633 or something like that, right?
Right.
It's like, willfully avoiding a speed trap. Okay, so just arrest him for nothing then?
Right.
Because what's the difference between that and arresting him for something made up?
Right. Oh, man. Weird. He goes to the restaurant, the diner in town, tries to get a donut, and he gets treated like shit because he's an out-of-towner, nobody wants him there, and they jack up the prices, and the cook is like being a total prick to him. But the waitress sees him and looks at his handsome face, Chuck Norris's handsome face, and is like, you know what? You smell nice. Let's bang.
Yeah, well, he's out of her league.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Jackie, is Chuck Norris the sexy?
Yes.
Really? I think
Yes,
he's
he
got a
is.
gargoyle face.
I think he is quite handsome, and I think that as he's aged, he's gotten even more handsomer to me. So, I mean, this young one, he's a handsome guy. Old Chuck Norris is where it's at.
I'll be damned.
So yeah, I think that Sam's right. He is out of her league. She
Okay.
would be so lucky
All right. Fair
get
enough.
to put lipstick on his knob.
Oh, boy. So he's like, fuck this restaurant, goes outside, gets the cops are there, and they rough him up. But then he's like, not on my watch. I'm going to start kicking you guys in the chest. And starts kicking them in the chest.
Kicks him in the chest.
So he has to, like, run away out of town. He finds the waitress in her car on her way home, because I guess, like, as soon as...
Is this after the chase?
Yeah. Well, oh, no.
Okay.
After the donut debacle, she's like, all right, my shift's over, I guess. Because it's like within minutes that she is not working
Sure.
anymore. And he's like, can I hang out at your place? She's like, yeah, let's do it.
Do you still need a phone? Yeah.
Right. That's what he needs is a phone. But she's like, yeah. Phone. That's what you're here for, huh? Yeah. I could think of something else.
They do it in the van.
Oh yeah, that's what I think too.
They say in the movie later
Yeah.
that they slept in the van.
Yeah. No, they porked in the van. Who doesn't pork in the van? He does use the phone. He makes a phone call back to his buddy who's getting drunk. And his buddy lets him know that all of the truckers of California are out looking for his kid bro.
Yeah.
So now he's got allies out there if he ever chooses to use them.
Yep. Everybody's got their ears on.
And he busts into the town meeting where they're talking about their business model and how bad it sucks.
Yeah, they're like, they've been making whiskey that we can't sell, and we're getting a shitload of it. And then they're like, all right, well, Louis, you come up. And it's like, yeah, we've been taking $80,000 semis and crushing them into $800 worth of metal, and that's going good, too.
I like their pie chart.
They have a graph.
Yeah.
They have a bar graph that you can't read that somebody made with, like, charcoal.
Right.
Or pencil.
Oh, it looks terrible. Oh, man, it's hilarious. And he's like, all right, motherfuckers, where's my brother? I'm not leaving until I see my brother. And they're like, kill him? And so the whole town circles around him. Like, they clear out this town meeting. All the chairs are immediately stowed. And it's time for whatever that is where you circle the wagons. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, type of
well,
thing.
they do. Yeah, they ring up. They form a canae, if you will.
And you really honestly think that he's right there and then going to beat the shit out of everybody in this town.
I was super, super stoked right here.
And he does a pretty good job. But I guess the guy's got a gun.
Yeah, well, he kicks the gun out of the guy's hand first, kicks his way out of the building, and then, like, just jumps on the roof.
Right. While everybody runs out looking for him and can't find him, and so they go all in different directions. He jumps down, and the only guy that's left there is the judge, and he's like, you son of a bitch. You clever son of a bitch.
Yep.
I like the way you handle that, but I gotta have you killed.
Uh-huh.
Then he proceeds to solo beat the shit out of
the
every
town.
single town.
This is the
person in
part where
town.
Jackie's like, he's not beating up the town. I'm like, just wait a second. And then she's like, yeah, he's beating up the whole town.
He's not beating up the whole town at once, Jackie.
That's what I was hoping for, but then, this was good too. He hit a few people with some 2x4s.
This karate sequence is hilarious.
Funny.
It's hilarious.
So my favorite is the guy in the orange hat.
Yeah.
He's coming down the stairs and he grabs him, punches him in the cock,
Yep.
and then punches him in the face and just throws him in a trash can.
And while he's jamming him in a trash can, another guy comes up and he just kicks that guy in the face off screen. Like the guy just flies off screen. Like, I'm trying to jam your buddy into a trash can right now.
It's funny when he kicks people in the face.
Yeah.
It's not dramatic or action packed. The stunt guys just kept doing these weird things when they get kicked in the face, and it's fucking hilarious.
It's not necessarily the choreography, because I'm just going to guess wildly. It's not much of a wild guess that they didn't know what they're doing with him.
No.
And so he's doing all the choreography.
sure.
And the real problem is they just don't know how to shoot around it.
Right.
And so they're shooting it in a conventional manner, and so none of it lines up, and it's just like you've seen so many karate movies being shot and how they use angles to accentuate things, and you're watching this and they're going, this camera guy's never shot a fight scene before.
Yeah, it looks like Benny Hill kicking people in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's great. And at some point during this whole sequence, the town starts to realize that they've bit off more than they can chew with this guy who's kicking everybody in the face.
Yes.
And so they start having these reactions, like they see him and they're like, shit, oh no, and they run away from him.
Yeah, beyond what I think is it is the all-time greatest cock punch in any movie.
It is.
That happens because he's standing on stairs and he just punches him deliberately right in the dick.
Because the guy has seen all this karate shit
Yeah.
go down, and he's like, I'll try to kick you in the face, and he just opens up his beanbag for him. It's hilarious.
And like beyond that, like some other really strange things happen editing-wise too, where like he's beating this guy up, and then it just has a cutaway to this lady watching. This like sort of maybe post-teen girl, and then she's like looking at him lovingly, like, "Oh, now that man can beat the shit out of somebody." But then she just loses all focus and like turns to the horizon while he's beating the shit out of two guys.
She's seriously pondering the mysteries of the universe while a man is kicking people in the nuts. It's so fucking weird. And then he runs to his van. He runs back to his van, and the cops chase him, and they don't do a very good job. They literally eat his dust.
Yeah, he actually drives circles around him in his van and makes so much smoke that they can't see anything.
Right.
Or makes so much dust.
And it ends up with him being able to drive his van up hills, and they can't drive their cars up hills, that he gets away from them.
The first time I saw this, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to get any silly violence, or that the van was going to let me down.
Mm-hmm.
And that right now in the movie, you're like, well, I just saw Bananas Karate, and now I am watching a van get some.
Yeah, the
like
only
this
thing,
van is getting it.
It's getting some, but he doesn't jump it.
He doesn't jump it.
It's too bad.
Jumping a van like that is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like that thing will
Inexpensive.
tip. That thing will tip. There's some stuff that the guy does in this, and I'm like, ooh, he's brave. Like that's a tippy guy, right? Those are tippy.
Yeah. So he drives directly back to the waitress's house where he proceeds to bone her.
Yeah.
And he spends the night out in the van, and there's a guy in town that has a chopper.
Well, yeah, the moonshine guy also has a chopper. He's
Okay.
the eye in the sky.
He's a chopper pilot.
Yeah. Eye in the sky.
Looking at you.
No, we're not doing Toto.
Change your
Never
mind.
doing Toto on the show ever.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna change it. Eye in the sky. I hate you. I'm drinking moonshine. That's probably how he sings it. You know?
he flies over the waitress's house, sees the van, and is like, "Oh shit, Arlene's getting some D. I better call the judge."
Yeah, and he's just like that. He gets on the CB. He's like, come back. I found the van. I can tell it's been there all night, and it looks like the dirt is arranged around it in a fashion that he humped the shit out of her for at least 3.5 hours.
Or, I just know how Arlene works.
Yeah, he can see that from the helicopter.
Right. Inside, JD is getting served some breakfast, where he is told that he's now a father.
Yeah. Yeah, this kid's like, are you going to marry my mom? And he's like, "Bah!" Oh.
Oh, God. Yeah, sure, kid. I'll be right back.
Kid then turns to him and says, I usually have to eat water in my cereal. Like,
What have I done?
Yep.
But for breakfast, he served one of the TV dinners. Like, here's your chicken pot pie for breakfast.
what are we having for breakfast? Turkey dinner. Microwaved turkey dinner. If the stuffing gets slightly hot, it turns into a crouton.
Oh, corn.
Oh, corn.
So he puts it together, I guess, that, this is the definitive proof I need. that my brother came here because the only way this person could have something that's sold in stores across the nation is if they stole it from a trucker.
Yeah. Well, these people, yes. Because I don't trust these people to be able to shop for themselves.
Yeah,
so
right.
These have to be stolen. I'm with him. These are definitely stolen.
They don't know how Walmart works. So he drives over to the junkyard. I don't know why he is immediately like, that's where my brother's got to be. That's where the clues start, is at the junkyard.
Well, he says there's only one place big enough in this area that can hide the truck.
Right, but you were already there. You didn't see it, dum-dum.
No, he didn't see it.
Right. It would be pretty, hey, there's my truck, son of a bitch. But anyways, he's looking around. The eye in the sky has got him pinned down, like, hey, he's right there. Go get him.
Yeah.
Sending the junkyard guy to get into a fight with him. Well, he's got a pickaxe, which is pretty weird.
Then he gets rid of it and gets a smaller one.
Right, yeah, I don't know why you'd make that switch.
Yeah, he switches to he switches from a pick to a Maddox, and it's a much smaller Maddox. And you're like, other one was too big, I guess. Yeah.
And JD beats him up. But the whole time, it's laugh out loud crazy because this chopper pilot is just going apeshit on this radio that doesn't work because it's just this voiceover like he's talking to us in QQQ language.
Yeah.
Get him, he's right there.
He's just yelling over the loudspeaker hanging out of the helicopter halfway.
Three-quarters
the entire
of it,
time.
I couldn't make sense of what he was saying.
No.
Well, that was the moonshine.
Yeah, right. JD sees the crushed door of his truck, and he's like, no! Because
Cindy Joe.
is he mad because his truck is gone, or because he thinks his brother was in the truck when it got smashed?
He's beating the shit out of this guy, and he's like, where is he? Where is he? And the whole time, the guy in the helicopter was like, don't tell him where he is.
Right.
And the guy's like, you're yelling at me from a helicopter, and I am getting punched in the face repeatedly.
Right.
And he looks over at the crusher and smiles, and then that's when JD thinks, oh my God, they killed him in the crusher.
Okay, so he's not mad about his truck. He's mad about his brother.
He's mad about his brother.
Okay, all right. Which causes him to get bonked lose attention for half a second and gets bonked. Gets thrown in the crusher.
By his own door.
Yeah. But he flops out after the guy hits him in the hand with a
tire iron,
and then that guy dies. I don't know how that guy died.
He kicked him off of the wrecker, and in the fall, combined with where he landed, killed him.
Okay. It was like a fall of about 5 feet.
Yeah, this one I'm not as bad with. He's going to kick another guy to death later that we can talk about.
Sure. The judge and the cops have taken over the waitress's house, and they are threatening her, like, hey, you're a piece of shit for banging this guy, and your husband was a piece of shit who owed me money, and you don't own your house. The town owns the house. Also, my finger is inside your child.
That's her husband's dad.
Yeah. So apparently this guy didn't get along with his son or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because the only resistance in the town was her son, or his son was her husband, and the guy killed his own son to get him out of the way.
Wow.
And then said, oh, it was my money anyway, so I technically own this house.
Yeah. Oh, bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
Also, my finger is inside your child.
That's not... Oh. He's really touching this kid in awkward ways. But
it's fine when he puts his hands down over the kid's knees. It's kind of like, oh, okay, it's a quick, knee pat. Okay.
Hey, you little shaver.
Yeah, and then it turns into, I'm going to grab into your crotchal area and then hold my hands there.
And then lean into your face while, like,
Talking
weird.
creepily to
Yeah.
you.
Not good.
No, it's
About your mom
fucking
sleeping
weird.
with the weird guy in a truck.
Yeah, but the kid gets free, runs off, but the waitress doesn't. JD goes to the restaurant or the bar to find the judge, and he's not there. He's at the house, but he gets held up at rifle points, and now they got JD, and they put him in a prison cell.
They get him finally locked up.
Yeah.
And then the mechanic's like getting on the horn to the police, like, we caught him. Even though my job is to be a mechanic and you guys are police officers, we did this and not you because you stink.
How's it going finding that kid? We failed.
We failed miserably.
Did not find the kid.
Are you using one of your personal vehicles at work today? Yes. Why is that? Oh, we lost one of the patrol cars in the last chase we were in.
Yeah, I drove it up a hill, and then because it couldn't make the hill, I just left it there.
I just left it there.
Yeah. So, and then my car also can't make it up the hill when I try to chase somebody.
Yeah, I fall down a lot. Sometimes I land on my hat, and it upsets me.
The judge comes down to JD and sentences him to death, of course.
Sure.
I don't think that this is going to go very well here in not just the context of Chuck Norris kicking everybody's ass, but you kill a guy, people are going to start poking around and find out what's going on, and then suddenly the FBI is shooting you.
Yeah.
Dum-dums. Can't kill this guy, just leave him in the fucking cell for the rest of his life.
Waiving the $250 fine really would have helped some things with
would've
these guys.
I mean, like, at what point does this... Oh, man, this is not worth it.
No.
The waitress has escaped as well, because I guess they weren't even watching her. She just gets on a motorbike and rides out into the desert and then wrecks on a tree branch, which is like a willow tree.
She demonstrates an ability to easily escape the long arm of this town's law by leading them on another chase where
Right.
the other patrol car is now wrecked.
Right.
But then also demonstrates her inability to ride a motorcycle by crashing it immediately afterwards.
On a branch.
Yeah, that's how bad they are at chasing people, is that someone that can barely ride a motorcycle will cause them to destroy their own vehicle.
And then she just leaves the motorbike there, too. Like,
Yeah.
well, that one's over.
Maybe she couldn't pick it up.
I think that's what happened. She looked at her and was like, too heavy.
Too heavy. I'll walk.
And then there's the first patrol car that's been abandoned because of inability to chase people is still there.
With its radio
going. And so she just like goes, oh, I'll use this. And then calls in the army of truckers.
The Big Rig Brigade. That's
the
what I
Big
call
Rig
them.
Brigade. But then her kid's like, Pop, boing, I'm here.
I was in the back the whole time.
Yeah. We're a family again. Resolved.
We can live in this police car in paradise.
Yeah.
Nobody will hassle us out here in the desert.
And they hug and you never see him again.
Right. The truckers are coming. They're like, shit.
Yeah.
They got JD locked up. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, they got good and like, oh, go round up mud flapper.
Yeah,
Somebody says that, round up mud flapper, because we can't, raise trucking hell on a city without him.
right, exactly. And the cops overhear them on the radio, and they're like, shit, the truckers are coming. We set up the roadblock, but they just blew right through it, damn it.
Yeah. They also, the moonshiners are sitting around like, what does that sound like? That sounds like thunder.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, all the windows are shaking and all of the products on shelves are shaking. China's falling off of hutches.
There's so much horsepower coming that it's causing an earthquake. Bitchin'.
Yes.
That's fucking rad, man. That's how trucking works. The mechanic marches JD out of the prison cell to shoot him, because I guess now everybody's too worried about the truckers that are coming. So this guy's like, I'm gonna get my vengeance because you killed my cousin, you son of a bitch. But Arnie dives in front of the bullet or pushes the gun away, but he still gets shot in the tummy. JD still gets shot in the stomach.
Yes.
He's bleeding out.
His hand has been crushed. And that's been bothering him.
Right.
And now he's been shot in the stomach. And right now that's really bothering him.
Kind of.
He's down for a minute.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and he realizes that, well, I've only been shot in the stomach.
Yeah, big deal.
I'll be all right. This really hurts though.
Right.
It still hurts right now, say.
Little sting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Arnie gets shot because of stupidness. But
And then, Wade, his brother, who shoots him on accident, realizes the error in his ways. The universe makes sense. And he's like, you have a brother too, and he's still alive. He's with the horses.
he must go to the barn. Boy. So he does go to the barn. His little brother's tied up in there. He's still alive, but this other cop is about to blow him away. But JD's like, screw that, and kicks him through the barn wall, which is pretty sweet.
The only reason he has the opportunity to do that, though, is that this fucking dirty cop decides to start freelancing. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to beat you up first.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have just shot him,
Just shoot
things
him.
would have worked out for you better.
Again.
They're going to work out bad no matter what.
Scott Evil.
Yeah.
Kid knew how to do it.
No. Instead, he's been kicked out of the side of a building.
Right.
Well, in the defense of these townspeople, not one building was built up to code. So.
Sure.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, boy. Because talk about that. The truckers have come into town, and they are ripping through it. Like, they are running over buildings.
They're driving through the town. Not the streets of the town, the buildings of the town. They're leveling it with trucks.
It's basically as well built as the pretend version of Rockridge.
The pretend version of Rockridge was sturdier than this by a lot.
Oh man, these buildings suck so bad. One of the trucks just barrel through a wall that's not attached to anything. It doesn't have a roof. It's just a wall.
What you guys are using? 16-inch on center framing, or you just stretch it out to 2 feet? Like, we're about 8 foot on center with our framing. That's Though we have only 2x4s in the corners. The rest of it's held up by the siding.
Well, hey guys, remember that helicopter from when we were talking about?
Sure.
We're gonna have an exploding helicopter, right? I mean, Chuck Norris is gonna get a rocket launcher and blow that thing out of the air, or maybe something even crazier than that. His motorcycle is gonna have a rocket launcher for an exhaust, and he's gonna blow it out, something like that. No, a fucking truck runs over a goddamn helicopter,
blows it the fuck up.
Oh, it's great.
Drives through the explosion like it's a fucking X-wing.
Doesn't even look at it.
Doesn't care. Gives two shits. Just like. Eat shit. I'm Mud Flapper. That's why they brought me.
I never thought I would live to see a big rig run over a helicopter.
First time I was like, whoa.
Holy shit.
Hey.
Oh, man. Back at JD, he's getting beat up by this cop pretty bad. I don't know what's happened.
Is this where he jumps out of the hay barn with the hook?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Suddenly, JD can't fight this guy. I guess maybe the bullet's still bothering him a little bit, but like the guy at one point throws hay in his face, and JD is like, "Oh,
yeah,
hay!
You're not hay in your eye. It fucking hurts."
And how do you throw hay at a guy? Like you mash it into their face, sure, but you can't just chuck hay.
Yeah, and then after he hits him in the eyes with hay, I guess that blinds him for 2 seconds before he realizes how bad it hurts to be shot because his gunshot's bothering him again. Then the cop hits him with a tire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
this is great.
Is like his body language and the way he just leaves the shot is like he's not actually trying to beat up JD anymore. He's trying to escape him. Is what it seems like because he hits him with his tire and he just fucks off.
Just leaves, but he's got a mission ahead of him. He's gone into town to the mercantile store and bought another fifth of wild turkey.
Wild turkey.
And then taken it to where they park this horse in a corral.
He's now in a corral just hanging out.
Vibing it.
On a pony she named Wildfire.
Right, like it's so reminiscent of the Charles Bronson thing in Once Upon a Time in the West, or like Fistful of Dollars has this type of shit in it. Like, oh, wait, what kind of? When did we get into a spaghetti western here?
And he's just hanging out like, "Hey, trucker," instead of like, "Hey, cowboy."
Right.
And then you piece together, having seen this a few times, like the character journey that this guy's undergone since getting kicked through that wall. Because he gets kicked through the wall and he kind of looks up when he gets up and he's like, yeah, that guy's tough. And he leaves the shot and you're like, I guess he's gone now. But then later he jumps out of a barn and attacks him.
Right.
And then hits him with a tire like, oh, he's going to kill him. He's got a hook and a tire.
And he doesn't.
And he's like, yeah, now I'm going to escape. But then you see him and he's been waiting.
He's waiting for Chuck.
He's gone, you know that I am your nemesis now. And he's like, what?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Which one are you? Slade or Slode or I can't. Man,
Well, that's the other guy. Strode is the bigger guy. This is just
who
other
are
guy
you?
cop.
I'm your worst nightmare. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's dance, motherfucker.
Prior to Norris getting up and walking over to this corral, though, he had sat up and opened his third eye and zenned away his gunshot.
Oh my gosh. Then this fight sequence, the climactic
This isn't
fight
a
sequence
fight.
between JD and
Other cop?
other cop who doesn't have any lines, is just him standing up and getting kicked in the chest over and over and over again. Like, he doesn't take a swing at Chuck Norris. He doesn't, like, react to, like, try to dodge anything. He seriously just stands up and gets kicked like he's a fucking crash test dummy.
Well, and the horse is running around in the background, giving
Right,
the eye to everything.
right.
Like, oh no.
There's supposed to be, like, some weird things happening with Norris's, like, spirit, and this horse is a spirit animal, but it's also, like, there with him running in. So this guy's just getting, if this was playing in regular speed, what happens here is this guy calls out Norris because he's now his worst enemy, and then gets the shit kicked out of him inside of about 45 seconds while a horse goes crazy and runs circles around the whole thing.
Right.
But it's all in slow motion, and it's shot weird, and so you're watching this for a while, and it's serious. He just gets up and gets kicked.
Right.
He's like, now for the climax. Ow. Okay, I've got you this time. Ow. Okay, I'm going to. Ow. I didn't even get all the way up that time. Wait for. Ow. Stop kicking me. Stop kicking me.
I was waiting for the horse to take its vengeance.
I thought the horse was going to,
Yeah.
like, trample him or something, but the horse is just, like, looking at Chuck knowingly, like, yeah, I see how you do it, Buster. I'm breaking the chains of my bondage and escaping because of your inspiration. And the horse fucking leaps
Jumps
over
out.
the fence and
Yeah.
freeze frames. Well, as the man has now died from being kicked in the chest.
Because he gets up after the last time that he got, like, kicked the shit out of, and when he should have stopped, Norris is leaving.
Right.
And then he just stands up and goes, Dolls, you son of a bitch!
Oh, yeah.
So he flying kicks him to death.
In the chest again.
Yeah. And he's like, this is going to be different. No, it's not.
Oh, man, it's so fucking weird. Unfortunately, the film only makes one mistake. It should have ended on the horse freeze frame.
Yes.
It cuts back to town with it burning and crumbling and the mayor's voice from the beginning repeating their citizenship, their township celebration.
I'm
This is
assuming it did originally cut to that last shot that was of the horse, but then somebody was like, you can't do that. You got to...
That's stupid.
We have to make people know that the town burned down. I was like, I watched the trucks run it the fuck over.
Yeah,
it
doesn't
didn't
matter
make it.
If it burned down or not, it was already crushed. So, yeah, forget about that part. That's the movie. Question time. Who wants some?
So what happened to the paralyzed guy story?
Where did that go? That went nowhere.
Well, they were the ones that did it to him.
Who?
Texas City.
Texas City.
Okay. So is he, like, gonna file a lawsuit?
Against what? They ran that town the fuck over.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
I wonder if they were one of the truckers that showed up at the end. I wasn't paying attention what their truck looked like at the beginning.
If they would have totally
Yeah.
exploited that if Large Marge was driving one of those big rigs or something. So no, she didn't. She's still at the truck center eating cake.
Pie.
Yeah, pie. Sammy?
Does JD go back for the mom and the kid, or does he just grab his brother?
No,
and
he's on the road,
Yeah.
man. He's on the road. Have you seen JD around anywhere? And everybody's like, oh, I think he went to Alaska or something. That's the last I heard of him. Don't tell her where he is. Yeah, no, he's gone. I don't have any questions. This thing ties itself up pretty nicely.
Yeah, and that's actually where my last question isn't really a question; it's a summary. Because I would ask, what was their business plan here? But what it is and like why it doesn't. So they get their fucking town charter was like, oh, there's a bunch of red tape. Probably not. He probably filed one piece of paper, work, got
Right.
his incorporated township,
Yeah.
decides to become rich with highway robbery
Right.
and murder.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, okay, we got the moonshine thing set up. We got the junkyard set up. This is our plan. Anything that comes through here, we take the load, we keep it for ourselves. We crush the truck, kill the person, sell it for metal weight. We sell this moonshine. Well, turns out you can't sell the moonshine, but they are selling the metal weight, possibly. They're in operation on this plan for about a week before truckers themselves turn them into tire tracks in dirt.
Absolutely. This was the worst plan ever. Like no chance are you even you're going to be dead before you're even close to, like, you're just getting started and you're going to be dead from
And that's what happened is they're like, day 4, we all died.
Yeah, you don't need Chuck Norris in this movie for it to play out the exact same way. You don't need a karate guy. These truckers are going to run over this town.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Jax, anything else from you?
I just want to put out that word of caution once again, just in case you didn't get it from the movie. You don't fuck with a trucker.
Yeah, that's right. Or a slew of truckers either. Final recommendations. I'll start. I fucking loved this movie.
I was assuming that this was going to push all of your happy buttons.
Yeah, it did. It certainly did. I mean, so many staples. Like I say, it's the only flaw it has is that the way it's ending. The beginning's actually a little slow and dry. I could have used a big action sequence at the beginning, but man, usually our complaint is the middle's boring or, the bookends of things. But this is just a slow and steady ramp up to fucking awesome shit. Mm-hmm. And no, I loved it. This is now my second favorite Chuck Norris movie. And it only can't beat out the Delta Force because it's the fucking Delta Force.
Yes.
So, this is it. This is my jam. Jackie?
I didn't like it. I loved it. I laughed my ass off. I was completely and totally entertained. I was rooting for Chuck Norris and the horse at the end. The horse really, I don't know, like last year it was a sea monster. Maybe I'm just like, don't like people anymore because I'm like,
not.
the horse in this movie was great. And I would absolutely recommend this movie. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's boss. Sam?
Yes, this is where bad movies and Chuck Norris meet in a special way. Mm-hmm. That it's not in my Hall of Fame, but if somebody told me it was in theirs, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
Also, like I really built it up way too much. Roman and I overbilled it to ourselves the first time we watched it, and we were a little disappointed. But I've showed it to people because they want to see it, and so I've seen it like 6 times now, and I was laughing my ass off the 6th time through.
Right.
Like it has a real staying power, and once you sort of know what you're actually getting, like the second time actually might be the best time around. So
well, and there's some weird shit in the background in this movie too
weird
to
shit.
watch out
yes.
for, like shirtless guy with a cat.
Shirtless guy with a cat.
He was my favorite.
My favorite this time around, and I don't think I ever noticed her, was the lady that is just doing the worst job being a waitress ever.
Right.
And then declares it in the middle of the film by just yelling, so many mistakes.
Oh, she's dropping sandwiches. Oh, man, it's bonkers. This movie, it's so weird. So, yeah, that's 3 mega dues from us. I've got a segue into something I found earlier today while I was deciding on what trucking movies I wanted to put in my 3 series of trucking movies. And I found this article on cdljobs.com that lists the 5 worst trucking movies of all time, because that's what cdljobs.com should be doing, is movie critiquing. I'm not going to go through the list, but I want to read the last paragraph of this beautifully written blog. The sad truth of the matter is the heading. I guess that a movie about a guy or gal who does their job, drives safe, keeps good logbooks, and helps out others on the road when given a chance to do so wouldn't make a very good movie. But it would be a lot more realistic than these 5 stinkers. That's what they're talking about. That's your takeaway. That's why I love trucking. Why I'm fascinated about the mythos of trucking is because on a movie blog, or a blog that has no business doing this, says, yeah, you wouldn't want to see people helping out each other. Like, that's what truckers do.
Yeah.
They don't just deliver goods.
No.
They see things on the side of the road. They're like Crime Stopper.
No, it's not Crime Stoppers, but just little like helpers,
Yeah, they're just little helpers.
highway helpers, right?
Yeah.
They're out there on the Pork Chop Express is out there on the highway doing God's work and also delivering things.
And also delivering our goods. Oh, man, I love trucking. Speaking of which, we're going to have a little pop quiz hot shot.
Oh,
Yeah. I haven't done this in a while, but as this movie goes so deep into CB radio lingo, I pulled up some trucker terms that I want to bounce off you guys and see if you can guess what they are. Starting with Antler Alley. What is an Antler Alley?
I have no idea.
Make a guess.
I'm going to guess that there's a lot of deer, that there's a deer pack coming.
Bing, 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 bing. Deer
Okay.
crossing.
Yes. Okay.
What's a baby bear?
Your son's in the truck with you?
That's a good guess, but no, that is not it.
Girlfriend?
No, not a girlfriend. You know what a bear is?
Yeah, it's a very hairy homosexual man.
No, not that one. It's a
Actual-
cop. Yeah, it's a cop.
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
bear. Okay.
Yeah, so a baby bear would be a rookie cop.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. Bear in the air.
Helicopter.
Helicopter.
Yeah, police helicopter. Yep.
Oh, I got it right because I said police helicopter.
It's not a moonshine helicopter. You're right.
Yeah, Sam.
How about a bird dog?
Somebody who's pointing.
Kind of. I mean, run with that idea. What would you want pointed out to you on the highway?
Speed traps.
Getting warmer.
I also don't want to be pulled over for my alcoholism, so a booze trap.
What would help you as you're driving down the road not get pulled over by the police?
Knowing where they are.
And how would you know where they are?
If someone was telling you.
Okay, fine. It's a fucking radar detector rebuttal.
Oh.
You guys got
I thought it was like a guy out there who was like, yeah, he's on 47 quarter.
Oh, like a lookout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And last but not least, this one's fucking bananas. Literally, a pickle park.
Is that where the lot lizards are?
It is a rest area. It's the pickle park. Boy, howdy.
Is that for...
Like wieners, Jackie.
Maybe we shouldn't call them pickles because that means that they're all shriveled up with weird warts.
We're not
and-
calling. They're calling them. Man, the people out on the road. Hey, look out for that pickle park. There's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of weird stuff in there.
Keep driving.
Keep driving.
Pickle park, huh?
Pickle park. So save that one for your travels as well, ye highway people. We got a few streaming do's and don'ts this week. Starting with on Netflix, Backdraft 2, a movie that nobody asked for.
Well, why? If you're Rafaela De Laurentiis, why would you come out of retirement and then do this?
I must make this film.
This is the film that has beckoned me back to the screen.
This story must be told about
Yes.
fires that explode out of doors, even though that does not happen in this movie.
Yeah, and she's like bringing it to Warner, or no, Universal's where she works, right?
Yeah.
And this had the Universal tag on it.
Right.
I don't even know how the fuck they let that happen.
I don't know either.
But she's like, I found the script, and then the person reads the top and says, Backdraft 2?
What?
What the fuck?
Why would we do that?
Yeah, she then paid for this new logo where it's dolphins that fly out of the ocean and then spell out Rafaela.
Right.
And so you realize immediately, like, this is going to be the first time that you've ever seen Rafaela De Laurentiis deliver her vision of film to you. And it's Backdraft 2, and it's everything you would expect it to be. It is shit.
It sucks.
I didn't make it through the whole movie.
No, it's terrible.
I pretended to have to go to the bathroom and then never came back. That's what happened to me. I was like,
Because you would hurt our feelings if you said, this movie sucks, I'm leaving.
Well, and I was hardly paying attention to begin with, but then
Right.
my phone was dying, and I'm like, well, I've got a Nintendo Switch upstairs. And then I'm like, oh, I just have to go to the bathroom, and I never fucking came back.
Yeah.
And then you guys came upstairs, you're like, what happened to you? And I'm like, oh, that wasn't very good.
It's terrible. It's
What?
boring. The script is garbage. The lead guy is garbage.
He's terrible.
Everything sucked about this movie.
He couldn't even act with a dog.
No.
The dog was like showing him up.
And he's got this tough guy thing, like, I'm a tough arson investigator. I break all the rules, like I'm a fucking loose cannon, like I'm Charlie Bronson or something. Fuck off.
You didn't even know, like, at that point, you couldn't even define his character, because by the end, he's like also encompass the spirit of the arsonist, like he's actually evil or something.
Right.
Like, they never even really like they try to do so much with him that they do absolutely nothing with him.
Yeah, you absolutely do nothing. And he ends up absolutely doing nothing in the movie.
Yeah, actually, no, he's foiled a 10-year national security investigation
Yeah,
by
right.
freelancing violence as a arson investigator.
Yeah, there might be some congressional hearings because of a arson investigator, firefighter. No, come on, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
And and the dog punches him in the balls, takes his pizza, and was like, "You fucking go sit over there."
That's right. Stupid butthole.
The only thing I liked about this movie was that we were able to discover that if you need Alec Baldwin for your movie, but you don't have Alec Baldwin money, you can now just hire William Baldwin because he is completely indistinguishable from his brother now.
It is uncanny, man. It is uncanny. Even the voice is the same.
He's just Alec Baldwin too.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Do not from me.
No, don't.
I want to be able to go back in time and tell Rafaela do not.
Yeah, no shit, huh? Do something else. Ugh. Moving on. Speaking of Dino De Laurentiis. Yes, we on Amazon Prime.
Flash.
There is a documentary called Life After Flash, the Sam J. Jones story.
Is he the PP guy?
He's the peepee guy
Okay.
who plays Flash in the now famous Stinker Madness episode. But it also doesn't just follow Sam J. Jones. It's a lot like Best Worst Movie Ever. It's lots of interviews about people who love Flash Gordon. They interview people that have collectibles, props, tour around the circuit, and also follow Sam J. Jones in what he's doing with his life now after Flash. So, pretty interesting.
It was interesting because you learn from the guys in the movie that are collecting all these props, right? That a majority of them were just shoved out the back door
Right.
and into like a burn pile because
Right.
they didn't know what to do with them. And it's kind of amazing that some of that stuff is even like kind of hung around. And then my favorite part when we get to the actors and the guy who played Birdman, the Birdman King.
What's that guy's name?
I can't remember anybody in that movie.
No, you love this guy.
Flash Gordon is alive.
We've got fans listening right now that are throwing things at
Throwing
them.
things
yeah.
because I don't like the movie, but I know who he is.
Brian Blessed. Whew.
Oh, there you go.
And he's talking about when he meets the Queen of England after this movie comes out, and her sons are pretty young still, right? And they're like, could you just do the Flash Gordon is alive for my sons?
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome?
And he was like, okay.
Of course, Your Majesty.
Like, that is amazing. Like, you made that big of an impact. The Queen of England knows your line.
Yeah.
Right.
And her family are fans of yours. Like, that's got to feel fucking amazing.
And you're Brian Blessed, and you've done a myriad of films
Sure.
where people respect your. I mean, you're as like beloved as like John Hurt, and the Queen says, "Can you do the line from the cheesy movie?"
Yeah, and he's like,
The line from Flash Gordon.
so I guess you don't remember when I was doing Shakespeare at the Royal.
Yeah, no,
Thanks.
do not care.
Like the Flash
You are
Gordon.
my subject. Yeah, it's weird. Like, to talk about the props, I want to go back because whether you love or hate Flash Gordon, the one thing about it is an elaborate fucking production. The costumes, the makeup, the set design, so super colorful that it would have been a shame if any of that stuff, I mean, even like any movie needs to have its stuff memorialized, and to just chuck it in the bin would have broke my heart. The one thing I didn't like about Life After Flash, it wasn't honest about what Flash Gordon is. Whereas Best Worst Movie, the title of the documentary is literally saying that Troll 2 is the worst movie. This blows Flash Gordon pretty hard.
Yeah, they just marketed this wrong and people didn't understand it. No, it stinks.
It stinks, and it's okay that it stinks.
Yeah.
People can love it, and it stinks.
Yeah.
But they make it seem like it's fucking Star Wars.
No.
Like it changed filmmaking. We now make movies differently because of Flash Gordon. No, we don't make Flash Gordon anymore. That's what that did. It stopped making Flash Gordon.
It made it to where 80-year-old parents aren't allowed to pick actors based upon their pee-pee. Right. Which is good.
So yeah, it kind of was a little too... what an amazing film. It is an amazing film, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that really bothered me is that because it is produced by Sam
J. Jones.
Jones.
Sam
Jones.
J. Jones.
Sam J. Jones, the Flash Gordon guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who plays Flash Gordon. And I really felt like his journey of Christianity and him not being able to deal with the fame.
Right. And the rejection.
And the rejection from Hollywood, that led him into this Christianity, and he used this movie as a platform for God is good and God is great. And I'm all about whatever you need to do, right? But if you're going to make a movie about Flash Gordon...
Do that.
Yeah.
And then make your documentary about Christianity later.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't feel appropriate because, the other actors that were taking part in this, and even Brian May from Queen.
Yeah, Brian May stops by and talks about the music.
They're talking about their experiences on set and the costumes and how much things weighed and how it was impossible to talk with this mask on.
Right.
And, they're remembering the camaraderie that they had and how big the sets were for everything. And then Sam is talking about Jesus. And I'm like, well, why didn't you talk about... I think that this is what bothered me, is that it's well known that he doesn't come back after winter break to finish up the film. So that's not his voice in the movie.
Right.
And so he was overdubbed for all of his lines. And he never even talks about that. He just says, well, my agent said not to do it.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to wonder if there's more there and... what's the real deal?
Dino De Laurentiis, probably. But yeah, no, it is weird because everybody talks so much about Flash Gordon and what their life was like after Flash Gordon, how it relates to Flash Gordon. He does not. He just talks about his life post Flash Gordon, like, oh, on this day my child was born. On this I did this. None of it's related to Flash Gordon, and especially the Christianity thing that he harps on. Yeah, it was different than how they treated every other interview.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that happens where it's like, oh, I know I can. It's like they're co-opting it. Like, I got a 5-minute soapbox that I can stand on here.
Right.
And then sometimes you wonder, it's like they're only doing this because it's the only way to get their 5-minute soapbox going.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, I'll do this other thing that should just be it, but I'm getting my 5-minute fucking soapbox on this.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to lie, though. I mean, it didn't change my love for the movie at all.
No,
it didn't
of course
hurt
not.
my view on what Flash Gordon is to me, and it actually made me appreciate it a lot more knowing what I know.
Yeah.
Based from watching this documentary. But yeah, I would still go meet Sam.
Oh, I totally would as well. It's
I would go meet any of those actors.
Yeah, I would love to.
At a Comic-Con or something. I would pay the money to go take my picture with them and whatnot.
Heck yeah.
But as soon as he said the Jesus to me, I'd be like,
Okay, I got to go
that's
talk to Brent Spiner again. Bye.
How nice.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Sam.
Give it to yourself.
Jackie, do or don't on Life After Flash?
I'm going to give it a do. I felt like there were a lot of really interesting pieces to it. And there are some really funny things where the actors are just, their whole personality, some of the actors that were part of Flash Gordon, it really comes out.
Yeah.
And you can see that they would have been so much fun to work with on this movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I got, too. Yeah, I'm going to give it a do. It is not best worst movie, as I said, but it is incredibly interesting. It's just the bias kind of pissed me off a little bit. But, yeah, still a do. Last but not least this week, we want to follow up from our episode last week where friend of the show, Eric, guested. We watched his movie on Amazon Prime called Life Room. From 2009, a 65-minute zombie movie that follows 6 people who sporadically die by zombies as they are trapped in a church gathering room called the Life Room.
Yes.
So first off, Eric made it seem like this thing was going to be a major piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that it was going to be unviewable is what I was thinking. That this movie was going to be unviewable.
He was very humble about his description of it.
And that I was going to start watching this thing, and I was just going to be like, I have to go to the bathroom and then not come back. Because, like, just the way that he had been talking about it since we met him, it's just, Yeah, I don't have real high expectations, but I am going to say, I will just let you know right now. I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah.
I was entertained. It was short. It was the right length for what it was.
Yeah.
And, some of the actors, okay, the female actors sucked asshole. Okay.
Right.
They just did. But the mean keep off t-shirt guy and the last man that's alive with the stripy shirt with it looked like he had sideburns that they had glued on.
Kind of did.
Because like it never, like a couple of shots, they look kind of glassy. Like
That's what
there's
I
the
thought, too.
plastic
Yeah,
underneath them.
Yeah.
Those two I thought kind of nailed it. Like they owned their characters. And I was like kind of sad when the little bastard kid died. Like, oh, if anybody, I thought you'd be the last one to make it because you're fucking ruthless. You killed your own damn friend.
Yeah, there's some interesting things that he does with the Walking Dead version of what zombies are, or what a zombie apocalypse is. Why people like that is it's not because of the zombies, it's about the people that are actually surviving it are more dangerous than the zombies. It is super budget, very super budget. And a lot of tropes that run throughout the zombie thing. I am done with zombies. I'm so fucking sick of zombies. But in 2009, this was about as hot as things could get. So I'm going to also say, aside from you morally should do it to support your fellow Secret Madness fans, we like to encourage creativity in our community. Do it for that reason alone. But I would say do it as well if you are still interested in seeing what independent filmmakers are doing with the zombie concept, which a lot of people are still doing. So yeah, from that angle, it's a 2 from me. Be aware it's super budget.
I would say, it's not like when you say super budget, you're kind of not like overbilling it even then because you're saying it's budgeted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about Eric, but it's an amateur film.
Yeah,
and if you're used to watching amateur films, this is actually a pretty decent amateur film.
I think he did a really good job for his first and only directorial and writing thing. I think it's kind of competent. I'm surprised he didn't do another one.
If his intention was for me to want these people to die with a passion, he did good job because I wanted them to die immediately.
Yeah,
after
people,
like the 20th minute, I was like, kill them now.
Yeah,
you must kill them. I want to kill him right now myself.
Fuck off or keep off, kid.
Yeah,
push them all out there.
Oh, I got actually warmed up. I was like, you should. I wanted him to kill everybody else.
Yeah,
because he was
my favorite.
But, yeah. It's got symptoms of the time, like the camera is interlaced, so the transfer, you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It blooms because, like the cameras in 2009, it looked like it was a 3-chip camera. If you're shooting outside, the sky is going to be white and bloomy, lights, windows. It's hard to shoot in front of that stuff because the contrast range just isn't there on the equipment.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I will also say I really appreciated the new zombie-ness of this movie that I have not seen before.
Okay.
That I thought was great writing was that the zombies, they're not just walking around constantly, right? They get rigor mortis, a zombie timeout.
Yeah, that was unique.
Yeah, they get rigor mortis, and then they
come back
from it. And they say, like, and it says in the movie, right, that there is a life cycle to this disease. So that they're getting close to the end of the life cycle once they hit the rigor mortis
stage. They just got to survive.
Right. And so, like, when they come across all the dead people in the gym, and the rigor mortis is set in.
Right.
And that, I really liked that. I thought it was a new kind of concept on things.
Zombie timeout.
Zombie timeout. But, also recognizing that, these are dead bodies and this is going to happen to them. So it's not like these bodies are just going to remain fluid and moving.
Right.
So I liked that.
Yeah, there you go. So that's 3 dues from us.
Just
on
know that
Life Room.
I will repeat myself. You have to be used to watching amateur films.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week, it is Sam's pick. What are we doing?
I haven't decided if it's Hidden Assassin. I've got 2 Lundgrens to finish out my Lundgren 3, and I'm having a hard time picking one, so it's going to be a surprise.
Okay. All right. Expect a Dolph Lundgren movie next week on the podcast. Enjoy your week. Get to the chopper. Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.